In the last lesson, I showed you how to establish yourself as an executive with high credibility and how to communicate the following things. First, I do not need to do business with you. Second, I'm not chasing your business. Instead, I'm trying to decide if I want to do business with you. If we do business together, it will be on terms that are set by me and ones that are mutually beneficial. When you have this kind of high status, the buyer respects your viewpoints, your suggestions, and recommendations. And that's really important. Next, we need to deal with a small problem. There's a fixed and unchangeable law of the business world. No one is going to value the product or service that you have until they understand that what you do is difficult, that you solve a really hard to solve problem, and that most other companies cannot do it at all. And others have not been able to solve the same problem that you've been able to solve, right? There's a couple of quick examples here. So try this. We all know what cloud storage is. Cloud storage solves the painful problem of storing, preserving, and protecting valuable business data. Not only is your data safer with cloud storage, it's also easier to access from any device. There's a reason why a company like Dropbox is so successful. They solve a really, really hard problem with their solution. So if you're a salesperson at Dropbox, you would say something like this. Look, many people have tried to build what we have, a cross-platform storage system from computer to phone and phone to computer. Few have succeeded. The dead pool of companies are very large that have tried to do this. It's really difficult. More than $200 million was wasted trying to develop the solution that we have. Why? Because it's hard. Most of those companies were not successful. You can't just throw a few engineers and $1 million and build this kind of product that we have, right? Google tried and they failed. Yahoo tried and they failed. Microsoft has been working on this forever. What we do is complex. It's difficult and it took years. But at the end of 10,000 plus engineering hours, we ended up with something no one else could do, right? So that's how you can do it if you're a Dropbox rep. I'll give you another example. It's even easier to understand. We'll make it so simple, right? Take a vacuum cleaner. Cyclone vacuums are special. They don't lose suction like conventional vacuums. There's no maintenance and there are no parts to replace. And these machines perform the same on day one as they do 5 years later. This is why Dyson has become so successful with them. They solved a hard problem, inventing the cyclone. If I was a Dyson rep, I might say it like this. General Electric makes vacuums. So does Bissell and so does Hoover. When those guys come up with a new vacuum model, they test 5 or 6 designs and then they pick the best one and go to market. But when James Dyson wanted a new model, he spent 5 years in his makeshift lab on a farm way out of the way in the Cotswolds in England, right? Building 5,127 prototypes. Why so many? Because you either need magic or engineering perfection to get 2 tiers of radial cyclones, carbon fiber brush heads, and ball head mobility to all happen at the same time. That's what we have, and others do not. Right? So if I sold for Dyson, that's how I do it. But you get my point. These are examples are from simple items, but you can apply the scripts to any product or service. Early in your pitch, you need to establish that what you do is very difficult to accomplish. No one else goes to the lengths and the measures that you do, and that you've engineered and developed solutions that other people don't have. Right? Here's how I did it in the mop pitch. The most promising new fabrics, the ones that are useful for mopping, have one thing in common. They absorb and suck up water so fast you'll think it's magic, not science. The problem is, these fabrics are based on advanced polyesters, and they can be made in the lab in low quantities, but are really hard to manufacture in bulk. They're expensive to make, and they're difficult to make durable. It's such a difficult problem, our Space Mop 3000 had to be made of spinning Kevlar microspheres that are 200 times smaller than a single BB. This hyper-advanced fabric was developed by scientists at NASA, which is probably why we still haven't even been back to the moon since, right? But you see the pattern here. Making this point that what we do is very hard before you discuss your product, it elevates the importance of you and what you have. It creates interest from your customer about how you do it, and it sets the stage for a non-selling approach to selling your product. That's important to me, because if you're selling all the time, it comes across as cheesy. So you need to know how to describe problems and build credibility so that later, when you start selling, every word you say has a strength. It carries the truth. It's believable, and therefore, it's convincing. Then look for an email from me because the next lesson in this mini course is on the way. It covers the correct way to describe what you have without trying to sell it or come across as pushy, salesy, or even worse, needy. I'll see you then.